Hello, and welcome everyone. Today, the spotlight falls on a true gem, the Svea, a European light cruiser that is as fierce as it is versatile. Svea is designed to dominate the battlefield by closely supporting destroyer operations and locking down those crucial capture points. Now, this beauty comes in at a price of 30,000 steel. But let me tell you, in my opinion, she's worth every bit of it. Svea is a consumable powerhouse, giving you all the tools you need to turn the tide of battle in no time. It's this really strong combination of having access to both smoke, radar, and speed boost, which gives you a lot of flexibility. And I just quickly put the build up here on screen, and you can see the exact numbers from these consumables here as I just quickly mouse over them before the real action and fighting starts. Svea flies the Swedish flag and is thus part of the pan-European nation, so you can easily use your Jersey Swirsky captain here for additional bonuses if you have him. So let's start this complete review guide with an in-depth look at Svea's armour. Svea is a light cruiser, so obviously lightly armoured. Now we can see here both bow and stern sections both have 25mm. The main belt armour is 70mm. The upper casemate and deck armour is 30mm, and the superstructure gets a very light 13mm of armour. The main battery gun turrets are very lightly armoured, so expect these to be knocked out regularly. They get an all-round protection of 20mm on top, frontal, side and rear plating. The citadel itself runs from the rear turret to just under the front turret. It is ever so slightly raised above the waterline, very slightly, as you can see here by the quick screenshot on screen. So this ties in to the Svea's hit points. With this build, Svea gets 38,100 hit points and no torpedo protection damage reduction. Now this is considerably boosted by having obviously the short burst smoke generator and access to 4 repair parties with this build that can repair 457 hit points per second. That is with the India Delta flag, of course, and this consumable is active for 14 seconds. Obviously, with the low number of hit points, you do want to be avoiding direct confrontations with heavy cruisers and battleships, but simply ducking and diving in and out behind islands, using your good concealment and the smokescreen will vastly enhance your survivability over the course of games. So let's look at the main battery. Svea gets 7 152mm guns, 2 twin-mounted on the stern, 2 twin-mounted 152s, and 1 triple-mounted on the bow. So 7 152mm guns. These have a very nice reload time of 4 seconds. They can rotate very quickly, 180 degrees in just 8.3 seconds. They have a max dispersion of 120 meters with a max firing range of 15.2 kilometers. Now these have a Sigma rating of 2.05. Svea can fire both high explosive and armor piercing. The high explosive have a max damage of 2,200. With this build and fire flags, you get a 12% fire chance. They can pen 30mm of armor and quite a nice shell speed of 900 meters per second. The armor piercing has the exact same shell speed of 900 meters per second and a max damage of 3000. Now I did experiment a little bit with IFAG to boost the penetration on the high explosive to break that 32mm threshold normally required to pen the bow and stern sections of the vast majority of battleships. But considering your primary focus is going to be combating enemy DDs and light cruisers, the 30mm is more than enough, and I didn't like sacrificing IFAG for the higher fire chance. When it comes to fighting heavy cruisers and battleships, you're going to be primarily reliant on sticking torps in there and just setting fires generally on anything within range. So pretty decent guns, 7 152s with a 4-second reload, found these guns to perform very, very well in general. So all of this is augmented by having 2x4 torpedo launchers. Now these have a very, very good reload of only 70 seconds. 2x4 launchers, one on each side. Now these have a very nice range of 13.5 kilometers. Very good speed, 86 knots. They can inflict a max damage of 10,700 and have a detectability range of 1.8 kilometers. So very nice torpedoes. You can basically put 8 torps in the water every minute or so. I use them primarily for torping enemy smoke screens, area of denial, torping channels in between islands, the usual suspects when it comes to fast reloading torpedoes. Get them in the water, they've got very good range, 13.5 kilometers, and they can feel quite useful indeed. Take that blood, force the damage gun, and then stick some fires on there when the damage gun is on cooldown. You can get some very, very nice tick damage when this scenario works in your favor. Svea also gets access to the depth charge airstrike. The operational range on this is 8 kilometers. They have a reload time of 30 seconds with 2 available flights, 1 aircraft per flight, dropping 2 bombs, and the max bomb damage on hitting submarines is 4,900. So quite decent. When it comes to AA defense, Svea gets 15 of these 40mm single mounted 40mm guns, and all of the main battery are dual purpose, so these 7 152s all double up as AA guns. Now this combined bumps out a continuous average damage of 354. The vast majority of this is medium range with a firing range of 3.5 kilometers. The long range AA, it does reach out to 6.9, but it is quite low. It's only 67. Fortunately, Svea does get 4 flak explosions in that 3.5 to 6.9 kilometer range. They can inflict a max damage of 1820. A total of 4 shell explosions per flak salvo, and the max range on these is 6.9 kilometers. All in total, an AA defense rating of 87. When it comes to maneuverability, Svea gets a base speed of 34 knots. Now you can improve this with the Sierra Mike to 35.7 knots, and when sailing in a straight line and activating the emergency engine power, this will boost your speed by a massive 30%. Now what this basically means in reality is when sailing in straight line, a max speed of 46 knots is attainable. So very, very good for getting in or out of trouble very, very quickly when activating this emergency engine power. 46 knots for a cruiser is very, very fast indeed. Whether you want to close the distance rapidly on a destroyer to activate your radar, or to get out of dodge as quickly as possible when the shit hits the proverbial fan, so to speak. The turning circle radius is 720 meters, and with this build I am using the propulsion mod. The rudder ship time is 8.6 seconds. So finally, stats wise, Svea with a full concealment build utilizing both the upgrade in slot 5 and the concealment skill concealment expert, you can get this concealment down to 9.3 kilometers. Range on the surveillance radar is 9 kilometers. Once you get detected, you're actually very close to being able to immediately radar your target that is detecting you on the surface. Having access to the speed boost will allow you to close that distance incredibly quickly. Now you will be surface detected by enemy submarines and enemy aircraft at 6.9 kilometers, and all of this equates to a concealment rating of 71. Now this is the Svea. Now this ship plays very, very nicely when playing as close support for your friendly destroyers. And even when your destroyers are gone, you still have all the tools required to be able to combat enemy DDs. And this ship, positioned well and played aggressively, can be incredibly dangerous for the destroyers on the enemy team. Very fast reloading consumables allows you to have everything you need on hand whenever you need it. You can quickly engage, disengage, re-engage, disengage. You get the picture. Very, very flexible ship indeed. Fast-firing guns, loads of torpedoes with decent range, and a simple powerhouse of consumables at your disposal. So this is the Svea. I hope you enjoyed this quick little preview guide. This will be available for 30,000 steel in the armory with the new update. I highly recommend you use your Jersey Swirsky captain if you have him for that additional adrenaline rush, additional reload on your main battery, and your torpedoes. Very useful indeed. So thank you all for watching. If you'd like to see some live Svea gameplay, feel free to come over and visit me on Twitch. I stream there on a regular basis. If you'd like to support the stream, we do have a very nice option for memberships. You can get an additional super container mission. The details can be found underneath the video in the pinned comment below the video here on YouTube. Feel free to come over and visit me on Twitch. You can see the link here on screen. I look forward to seeing you all.
Smoke screen set. Engine boost activated.